Scene 3 is a lot, so get ready. This scene opens up with a new character called the Porter. I don't have a puppet for him because he literally shows up just this one time. The Porter is like the gatekeeper or the doorman. He's in charge of letting people in and out of the castle. So he's drunk from the party, having a good time, cracking jokes, but he's joking about what it's like to be the doorman for hell. Interesting. His long speech is interrupted by a knocking and the arrival of a new character, a Thane named Macduff. So we have not met Macduff yet. He is a Thane, another nobleman like Macbeth and Banquo. He will be important. Remember Macduff. Macduff gets let in because he says he has orders to see the king and to wake up the king. So they go to fetch Macbeth. So Macbeth and there's a couple knights like Ross and Lennox who are at the battle who come in with Macduff. And they wake up Macbeth, and Macbeth says, "Oh yeah, the king's over there. Feel free." So Macbeth and the other arrivals like Ross and Lennox hang out, just chatting, while they wait for Macduff to come back. Macduff comes running in like screaming about how horrible everything is and how the world is ending and how they need to wake everybody up, which Macduff essentially does with all of his shouting, because Macduff has discovered that Duncan is dead in a very, very bloody way. So, of course, when Macduff comes back, Macbeth and the other men freak out and they kind of go to, gather everybody else who's been awakened by the noise. During this time, Macbeth sneaks off. And remember those two guards who they framed for the murder, who have blood on them and the knives next to them? Yeah, Macbeth goes and kills them. All right? So Macbeth comes back, Macduff comes back, Lady Macbeth comes in, Banquo joins in, and then Malcolm and Donalbain, Duncan's sons, the princes, also show up. Ross and Lennox and some other people are also present, but it's basically a big crowd in the castle corridor. And they are all freaking out about Duncan being dead, talking about how could this have happened? Who could have done it? And Macduff says, "Oh, well, I saw the two servants outside. It must have been them. They were covered in blood." And so obviously they're like, let's go question them and they can tell us what happened. And then Macbeth is like, "Actually, you can't talk to them because I killed them." And everyone is like, excuse me, you did what? And Macbeth is like, he goes off in this long speech about, "What would you have done if you were me and you saw brave Duncan's glorious figure all ruined with blood, and I couldn't stop myself, I couldn't help myself, I had to murder the servants." And Lady Macbeth, sensing that her husband is being way too suspicious, she promptly faints to take the attention away from Macbeth's monologue. So they take care of Lady Macbeth. They take her off to recover because obviously, as a woman, of course she's going to faint at the idea of a murder. So most of the men Macbeth goes to take care of his wife. Macduff and Banquo kind of go off to talk about what's happened, and we are left with the king's two sons. So remember Malcolm, this guy. Malcolm is the one who's been named the heir to the throne, and Donalbain, who we haven't met directly yet, but he's another prince, Malcolm's younger brother. They're both the sons of Duncans. So it can be assumed Malcolm is about to be king, right? Because his dad just died and he's next in line. And if something were going to happen to Malcolm, then Donalbain would be a logical next choice. The two of them are very suspicious and say, clearly something went wrong. What if they think it's us in an attempt to get the throne? Or what if they come after us next? We got to get out of here. So Malcolm decides that he's going to flee to England, and Donalbain decides that he's going to flee to Ireland to protect themselves, because if they're separate, it's that much harder for them to get caught or murdered.